Wish to pay donation, they are welcome to do it. Any question? Okay, good. Have a good time. Wonderful teaching will be there. And if you have any doubts about the room, please contact us. We cannot do much, but we will listen to you and try to help you. Camp is full, and I think we ended up having about 40 children, and some floaters will be there because it's holiday. Tomorrow is Saturday and Sunday is weekend class, and of course Monday is also holiday. So all the 3 days you'll see dining hall is full of activities. And when people come to the office, some of them they greet us. First question they ask, what is password? I told, please ask how we are. Then we'll tell you password. So password will not work everywhere. Some places it works, so don't feel bad about it. And password is all caps silver jubilee. Okay. Thank you, and Swamiji, as I told you, Swamiji is in. We'll welcome Swamiji and begin our satsang, this camp. Namaste, Swamiji. Swamiji wants you to be seated and receive him. So, aye, Swamiji. Please sit down. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrunvannotibhisida Sadhanam Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Atmaswarupa Bandhugana. Welcome you all for this 3-day or 4-day study session. we have assembled here to study some important aspects of Vedantic wisdom in 3-4 days. And so I request all of you to commit yourself for such a study. Look at it that way. Don't look at it some this group or that group or social gathering, not like that. We are committing ourselves to study for 3-4 days. And we study together. Okay? I also join you. But by virtue of sitting on a higher pedestal and also by virtue of knowing a little Sanskrit, I will be guiding this study. But I will be doing the same thing as you are trying to do. Namely, study Drigdrishya Viveka, a few verses from a beautiful text by Shankaracharya. 5 of them are printed in the handout. So I think we will limit ourselves to those 5 verses in these few classes. And then my friend Shri Swami Muktatmanandaji will do Vidura Niti, a few verses again. Vidura Niti is quite big, like Bhagavad Gita it is. The same source. Vidura Niti comes from Mahabharata, just like Bhagavad Gita comes from Mahabharata. From that you can understand the value and the quality of the text. In fact, some of the verses in Vidura Niti, they sound like an echo of some verses in Gita. So it's a very beautiful effort to study Vidura Niti. Then I will be doing meditation session, guided meditation. And if you notice the original events calendar, there it was mentioned as Upanishad meditations. So don't think that something new has come now. No. It still stands, because Drigdrishya Viveka is, though it is a Prakarana text of Shankara, it is not less than any Upanishad in its value or in its scope. It captures the vision of Upanishads very beautifully, and therefore, though it is not technically not Upanishad, but still the vision is that of Upanishad only. And then meditation. So I look at the whole study session as one long meditation. People have some exotic ideas about meditation, and I am going to say that is all not meditation. I am going to say that. Okay? I will substantiate what I say also. And so, if you listen to the speaker with an open mind, it is not easy to have an open mind. Okay? Don't complain, oh, we have open mind. Leave that to me. I will tell you whether you have open mind or not. So, suppose you have already studied some Vedanta, then it is very hard to have an open mind. Because you already know what I can teach now to you. So, therefore, you have to find out what is this open mind. That also you have to find out. Though it is obvious to a large extent, but to acquire it is not that easy unless you pay particular attention to that also. Therefore, I would request you to study with an open mind. So, if you listen to the speaker with an open mind and with a flexibility, suppose you are rigid in your thinking, then there is no meditation. That is not meditation. If you listen with flexibility or pliability and without judging or trying to assess, just with an open mind and with attention, if you listen to the speaker, That is called meditation. You may not be sitting in a particular posture by closing the door in some darkness. You may not be doing all that. You will be just sitting like this only and will be listening to the speaker. But if you listen the way I described, then that listening, that shravanam becomes meditation. Therefore, the title given, Upanishad Meditations, in the events calendar, it stands. So it need not be modified. Okay, it stands. So you may look at the classes as well as the meditation, morning guided meditation session, and also the satsang, all of that as meditation. It is up to you to take it to the level of meditation. Okay? Then I don't find any question. Any questions are offered there? Okay. So morning, okay. The meditation, guided meditation session begins at 7 and it will take some 25 minutes time, 25 to 30 minutes, something like that. It can vary by a few minutes. And so you be in the seat, ready for guided meditation, at least 3 minutes before 7. I will come my way. When I come, you need not get up. That becomes a distraction, unnecessary. You will make a lot of noise when you get up, tuck, and then sit down again, tuck. All that is not necessary. So I am like one of you. Therefore I am coming from that side, just to make you feel that I am one of you, and also I feel myself that we are all together. Therefore you don't get up, no formalities. You don't need to do any namaskar and all that. If you feel it's a must, then you may do like this. I am telling you how to do it, okay? This is the namaskar. I am doing namaskar to all of you. You may do the same way. One time in a day, not whenever you see me. I am going for a cup of coffee and then you start your namaskar, I will miss my coffee, and sometimes I may fall down also because I am walking with a certain briskness. Therefore, please avoid all that. You don't need all that. So that is the meditation session. After that you will have breakfast, then the class at 9. You be in the seat at the right time. Even if by chance you are delayed by a few minutes, you walk in. Don't wait outside. You just walk in. And satsanga will be very comfortable, ideal, if you write the questions and put here. That will be very convenient. Because somehow the arrangement is such that we are having a certain distance between us. It is not exactly like a classroom. It should have been, but there is some distance, and therefore, to obviate that disadvantage, you may write your questions on a piece of paper and put here, and you write the question whenever you get it, so that you don't forget it, and drop it there. And evening when I come for the satsanga, we will look at those questions. So that is a little orientation. You may get up in between and interrupt in the satsanga, and you may ask in between also. You keep that prerogative with you, you can do that. But it will not be very convenient though. The best ideal thing would be to write the question and drop it here. And so with that orientation, now I will start answering a few questions. Is there samsara for a karma yogi who is not yet a jnani? This shows that you have been studying some Vedanta for a few years from this question. So, first you have to know what is karma yoga. No, we know Karma Yoga, we have studied it so many times. That is not the way to approach it. It is not easy even to understand Karma Yoga. There is a lot of misinformation about Karma Yoga. Therefore, anyway, let us assume that you know what is Karma Yoga. Knowing is all important thing. If you understand, knowing also has 2 dimensions. So the knowing has to become understanding. I will describe all these things eventually to you. You understand deeply within what is Karma Yoga. And unequivocally you know it or understand it. Then action follows. Knowledge is ever followed by action. Therefore, if that is the way you live, you are already a liberated soul. Already. Karmanaiva hi samsiddhimastita janakadayaha. No, karma cannot give you moksha. That is not karma. It is karma yoga. Karma associated with understanding. That is jnanam only. Therefore, if you know what is karma yogi, that is the jnana. That is the jnana. And therefore, first karma yoga, then jnana yoga. You may still describe like that technically, but in spirit, if you know what is karma yoga correctly, you understand karma yoga correctly, and you discover karma yoga in your life, you discover it in your life of activity, you are already a liberated soul. You are a jnani. That is what Sri Krishna said in so many words. Karmana iva hi samsiddhimastita janakadayaha. Does a karma yogi still see the snake instead of a rope? You see, only an ignorant man sees a snake instead of rope. Not the one who knows the truth, who understands the truth. Therefore, if you are really a karma yogi, I am emphasizing that word, if you are really a karma yogi, which means you have understood the meaning of life on this planet. With that understanding, you are already a liberated soul. Therefore, you will not be a victim of false notions. So, rope and serpent is only a symbolic thing, right? It is only an illustration. Therefore, you will be free from all false notions and you will be free from the bondage of samsara. Okay? So, I hope you understand, you mean it correctly, that rope and a snake. Rope and a snake, that is not a literal thing it is. It means we have some false notions about many things in life. For example, do you feel that somebody is an enemy to you? If not an enemy, an adversary, do you feel that way? That is the meaning of rope and serpent. You are seeing a serpent. Serpent stands for insecurity. When you see a serpent where there is rope, it is your insecurity which is projecting a serpent. Why should you see a serpent? Why not a garland? There is a rope. You could as well see a garland, but you always end up seeing a serpent. Why? What could be the reason? Because you are insecure. People are insecure. Fundamentally insecure. They don't know what is settlement. They are insecure. Everywhere. In India they are insecure, in America also they are insecure. India is karma bhumi, earth. America is heaven. Dubai is a Trishanku heaven. So in all the three places they are insecure. So that insecurity is illustrated by the rope serpent example. Therefore, if you feel insecure, you are seeing a serpent. And people see all kinds of serpents. Many of you, or at least some of you, must be having the name serpent in your name. Some of you. That is because your parents and grandparents were very insecure. That's why you got that name. Okay? Therefore, people are insecure. And that insecurity is a direct outcome of false notions. And if you understand Karma Yoga, you are already free from false notions. So that is the connection. Then, an effective way to help children in colleges follow their dharma. You follow your dharma. We are here to understand dharma and follow it in our lives. This is another rather interesting notion that people have, that the students in the college, they may not be following dharma. My feeling, if you don't mind, if I give an open, frank opinion about it, my feeling is they are following dharma much better than the elders. That is my feeling. Okay? Unless you give a very funny meaning to the word dharma. So what do you mean by dharma? If dharma is telling truth, then they are telling truth more often than us elders. Possible, you know. If dharma is the absence of hypocrisy, then they stand out much ahead of us in many ways. Therefore, I am not impressed by this statement that the students of college should know dharma. I would rather say that we should all know dharma. That's why we have assembled here. Now let the students of college take care of themselves and their dharma. Let us take care of ourselves and our dharma here. Okay? Please don't mind my answering. You don't expect a conventional answer from me. Okay? Be prepared for unconventional answer. Right? Also, you don't expect me to answer in a way that fits into your way of thinking. Okay? You should not expect any of that. Suppose I answer and that fits into your way of thinking. What do you get? Nothing you get out of it. You will feel good that what I think is right. That is what you will feel. And that will rather concretize the notion that you have already. It doesn't help. But suppose what I say doesn't fit into your thinking, then you will be obliged to think about it. What is this guy saying? What we were thinking and what this guy says. So now you are obliged to think. That is a big achievement on my part. Achievement not on your part. That I made you think, okay? So, generally, for Vedanta classes, jijnasus don't come. Parents come. That is an enormous contradiction. Who has to attend a physics class? Who has to attend the physics class? Parent of 2 children has to attend the physics class. Is that what it is? No. A student of physics has to attend the physics class. A student of mathematics has to attend mathematics class. A student of Vedanta, what we call jijnasu, should attend Vedanta class. But the question betrays that you are not a student of Vedanta, you are not a jijnasu, you are a father of college-going son and or daughter. And if you are a jijnasu, probably I will be able to help you in understanding. But if you are a father of 2 college-going kids, I will not be able to help you. Because I could not handle that situation and therefore I took to sannyasa. So how can I help you? And also I will say you are imagining too much. You are imagining. If you examine carefully, are you the father? Or the higher power, the prime mover, is the father of all? So you have to think a lot more. That is the answer, okay? Children are being guilt-tripped by the woke crowd, W-O-K-E. What is that? W-O-K-E. Guilt-tripped means what? I did not get it. Children are being guilt-tripped by the woke crowd. Generally, I did not get it, but in a way, you see, once a student called me. He was studying in BITS Pilani in India, and I was in Secunderabad. He called me saying that, Swamiji, here the students are bothering me. There is ragging, First year he joined, and the senior students were ragging him. So I find I am very disappointed, and I am finding it difficult to put up with this ragging occasionally. So what should I do now? The first advice I gave him is, don't inform your parents. Number one. Number two, by the way, you want to stand all that ragging and stand steadfast and move forward and continue the studies? Is that what your plan? Or you want to run away from the college because some ragging is there? What is your plan? No, I want to stand and continue the studies in spite of the difficulty of ragging. Good. That is a good decision on your part. You stay with that decision. Don't allow that to be disturbed or shaken. Don't inform your parents. You take advice from your friends who are getting ragged along with you. You support each other, and also you make friends with one or two senior students, and within a week or two you should be able to overcome this problem. Please do that way. That is the advice I gave. So this incident I have narrated to you only because the students will manage their situation very well by staying in their position, by going through the motions of college going and studying and all that. Better parents do not interfere in a normal way. Parents' interference becomes important only when the situation is very abnormal. Otherwise, parents better leave them alone. You support them from a distance and leave them. Let them face the music, the way they say, Let them face the difficulties of a student life. We all have done that. And as students, we were subjected to all kinds of difficulties, and we went through all that and came out successfully, all of you. The present day students also will do the same thing. So encourage them, support them, but better don't interfere them. That is the answer, though I did not understand the question properly, but that is the answer that occurs to my mind. Then, what should I focus on or think of during meditation? You will not have that problem because it's a guided meditation. So you just submit yourself to the guidance provided by the speaker. And then when you go back home, then you can still continue with some more guided meditations. You can get hold of a CD or recorded guided meditations, a group of meditations, some 30 or 40, and continue with them. One meditation a day like that. So that answers the question. Also, by the time this session ends, you will have got an idea of meditation, And you may even continue meditation independently. Without guided meditation also you can independently continue meditation, provided you understand what is meditation. Let us hope that in the coming classes we will examine that issue. Existence is enjoyed by all manifestation. But knownness, maybe knowingness, I suppose, is enjoyed by only sentient beings, okay? Then why do we say existent and knownness are same? Existent and not knownness, knowingness, you say like that. Existence is called Sat, knowingness is called Chit. That is the terminology. Maybe you are referring to that. You must be. So, they are same for you. They are not same for a piece of stone. They are same for you. For every sentient being, the existence, Sat, is the same as Chit, the knowingness. You look at yourself, you can tell about yourself. I am. You can say that, right? Do you have any doubt about it? No? You can say. Can you say or not? Why you are looking at me with the grumpy faces like that? Be nice and be smiling. Maybe you are smiling, I can't see because of these masks. So, if you feel like take out the mask, like I have done, take out the mask. So it is up to you. So therefore, when you look at yourself, you can say without any hesitation or doubt that I am. You can say that, right? I am saying on your behalf. Not from my side. From my side I have to say you are. But I am saying it from your side. I am. Can you say that? That is Sat. I know. Can you say that? No. Can you say that? You don't know? Why you don't know? You know? You know everything. All around you, you know. You know the speaker and you know what the speaker is saying. You know all that, right? Why do you say you don't know? You know? No, certain things we don't know. Then also you know. Huh? Who knows that you don't know? Who knows? You know that you don't know. Always you know. When you know, you know. When you do not know, you know. In light, you know. In darkness also, you know. Right? No, in darkness we cannot see. That you know. You know that you cannot see. Darkness doesn't tell, you cannot see. You tell, I cannot see. That means you know that you cannot see. You always know. That is your essential nature. You cannot be anything other than the being I am and the knowing I know. You cannot be anything other than that. Everything else is false. Only that is the truth. And therefore, in your case, the being I am and the knowingness or knowing I know are one and the same. They merge. Where do they merge? In you. So you are not only Sat but also Chit. Or you are not only Chit but are Sat but also Sat. Or you are Sat which is Chit. Or you are Chit which is Sat. That is what you are. That is the sameness. Sameness of Sat and Chit. It applies to you. Applies to you right away. Okay, you followed that? How does one quieten the mind during meditation? You see, you do not quieten the mind. When you try to quieten the mind, it will revolt. And it will not oblige you. Therefore, don't try to quieten the mind. Leave it alone. Let the mind become quiet. Mind can become quiet. It can, if you allow. Therefore, you allow. Did you see the difference what I am saying? This is the way. You want to quieten the mind. That is yoga. Hatha yoga. Patanjali yoga also. That is the method. You have to quieten the mind. You quieten the mind. That is yoga. Let us say yoga, which includes Hatha yoga as well as Patanjali yoga. The mind becomes quiet. If you allow it, it becomes quiet. That is Vedanta. That is the guided meditation in the context of Vedantic study. Therefore, you don't try to quieten the mind. Allow it. If it wants to think, let it think. If it wants to move, let it. But if it wants to become quiet, let it. It becomes quiet. You be a just neutral observer. That is the topic from tomorrow morning onwards. That is the only way to handle it. If you try to quieten the mind, you will be trying it everlastingly without reaching anywhere. Some people claim that they have reached somewhere. You have to believe them. Okay? They may be boasting. I wanted to say bluffing, but then I changed it to boasting. But now I said bluffing. Okay? It could be one or the other. Or they are not conscious of what they are saying. Okay? It is possible. Therefore, don't worry about quietening the mind. That is not going to happen. That will put you in an everlasting conflict. You will not be able to do that. Therefore, that is not the goal. The goal is allow the mind. Let it. It wants to move, let it move. It wants to come out with a flow of thoughts, let it. You are not the mind. You are the one who knows the mind. You are the knower behind the thinker. Mind is the thinker. And you are not the thinker. You are the knower behind the thinker. If you discover your status correctly, then mind becoming quiet, etc., there all those issues will be happily resolved. Okay? You should be able to say, I do not mind even if the mind is thinking. You should be able to say that. When you say that, not just for the sake of saying, but when you say it from understanding, I do not mind the mind moving hither and thither. I do not mind the mind thinking. When you say that, now the mind learns to become quiet. And slowly you will discover a silence within you. We'll come to all of that. So, what they say, you have jumped the gun, that they say like that, it is about to come tomorrow or day after, and so that question has already come. Now I see one final question here. I have heard Sharanagati defined as surrender, not defined, translated as surrender. Is that right? Yeah. You can translate Sharanagati as a surrender. But a surrender could have a kind of different shades of meaning. Whereas Sharanagati has got a fixed understanding associated with it. Therefore, generally, we translate Sharanagati as self-surrender. That is the way, not surrender. So like you are bargaining, you want to purchase an item and you are bargaining. And then, okay, chalo, I surrender. And you pay the price the person asks and purchase it. So that is, so surrender has some such meaning. Somebody is arguing with you. You are tired of argument and okay, I surrender. You have your say. So it is not like that. It is not just some kind of a routine surrender. Sharanagati is not that. Sharanagati, therefore, it is translated as self-surrender. There, the surrender of the small self. There is a small self in you, and that small self is a false self. It is not the true self. And so you have to recognize that false self and neutralize it. And the way to do that is Sharanagati. So it's a big topic. And does Sharanagati imply inaction? No. Sharanagati doesn't imply inaction. So, you see, you act not to control things, but as a duty, as a spontaneous movement, you act. That is how the Sharanagati person's actions will be. That is called a spontaneous action. A person who knows Sharanagati, he acts in a spontaneous way. Whereas the samsaris, the worldly people who don't know what is Sharanagati, they have the vocabulary with them. The word Sharanagati they have. They may sing also. Tanumana dhana sharana, like that they may sing also. And they may sing with orchestra, tabla, violin, with all that. With the entire paraphernalia they will be singing. But they only that much only they have. They have only the vocabulary. Vocabulary is not Sharanagati. Sharanagati, if you can do Sharanagati, if you understand, it is something to be understood. It is not something to be done. It is not an action. It is understanding. And if you understand Sharanagati now and here, you are liberated now and here. Sharanagati is a very big thing. So it is not inaction. Sharanagati people are very purposefully active. They are not dull people. It is not inaction. Let us do one thing. Let us make a deal. You register for the Vishnu Sahasranama first camp, and I will tell you what is Sharanagati in more detail at that time. I don't want to exhaust whatever little I know about Sharanagati now itself. Okay? Because I have to teach a class or two of Vishnu Sahasranama also. It begins with Sharanagati. So for the present that much is enough. But then I don't have any further questions. You see, I tell you what. In life, whenever you are acting, you have to ask the question, your actions are they motivated actions or not? Motivated actions. You act every single time with a motive. So, that is the opposite of Sharanagati. Okay? On the other hand, when you act purposefully, not some silly action I am talking about, in a very purposeful way you act. Your action is very meaningful and purposeful. It serves a nice purpose, but you do not have any motive behind that action. Motive means selfish and self-interest. The self-interest is the motive. You don't have any self-interest. You allow the act to happen because it happens to be the duty, and you love people, and therefore you respond to a given situation, or you are performing your duty You don't have any selfish motive behind that action. That is the karma yoga. Okay? Briefly. And when you act like that in life, that means you are not trying to control anything. You are not trying to accomplish anything. What you call accomplish is a kind of controlling only. You want to control the situations to your favor. And so when you act the way I described, you do not control anything. You just respond, that's all. You do your duty and do not control anything. Do not try to control anything, because everything is controlled and commanded by the prime mover. Therefore, you do not push yourself to control and command a given situation. You just do what is expected of you, because it happens to be your duty. That is one facet of Sharanagati. Whereas people means you and me, we are the people. We always try to perform with a view to control, command, make things happen in a particular way with an enormous agenda. We function. And we will be saying at the same time, God, God also. So we say God 10 times in a day without having any godliness in us. And we try to believe in God. We do not understand God. If you understand God, you need not believe in God. Believing in God comes very easy, whereas understanding God comes with a difficulty. So it requires an enormous maturity to understand God. God is the prime mover. That expression, could you get? Prime mover. The one who moves all. All. Small and big. It is called Antaryami. That is what God is. God is Antaryami, abiding in everything, commanding and controlling. That is what God is. And if you understand God, then you need not believe in God. That is not belief, it is understanding. Belief is what? You go to a shrine and believe that there is God sitting there, or God is there. So you think of God when you go to the temple. The moment you step out of the temple, you conveniently forget the God. In fact, now you have a reason to forget the God, because you are now out of the temple. Inside the temple, you are obliged to think of God. But once you step out, now you are not in the temple. Therefore, you can become a worldly person. This we see in India. In India, some of these rowdy shaters and mafia dons and their cohorts, all of them come to the temple. They are all devotees, you know. Prominent devotees. We are in the back line. They are in the prominent devotees. The Nayakan, the mafia don, they are all the primary devotees. And they come to temple. With there will be 3-4 cohorts. There will be guns also in their pockets. Okay? They all come, and with big devotion they come, put marks and do namaskar. Hey, behave properly. Because in the temple you should not misbehave. And they are very polite. And then they step out of the temple. Now they are smugglers, mafia dons, this, that, all kinds of things. So anyway, I gave an extreme example. The point is, if you understand what is God, it is not about believing in God. And from that understanding comes the spirit of Sharanagati. And once you know what is Sharanagati, I have described briefly, I will describe further in Vishnu Sahasranama classes. So if you understand the spirit of Sharanagati, you are liberated then and there. You need not, that is right away liberation. moksha, the ultimate. So that concludes the questions. Assuming that there are no more questions, I am also trying to look at the material that is before me for tomorrow's class, Ropam Drishyam, Lochanam Druk, etc. So, you see, our brain functions in old habits, like a gramophone record, playing the same tune over and over again. That is how our brain functions. And we bring that quality of the brain to the study of Vedanta also. That's why we apply that principle to Gita, Gita, Upanishad, etc. Therefore you are studying Gita one time, then a second time, then a third time, then chant it, recite it, again recite it, again chant it, like that. So that is the difficulty. So what happens is, when you are caught in the old habits of the thinking, when the brain functions in the old habits like a gramophone record, the tune is going on, like the Gita verses are going on. So aham vaishvanaro bhutva, like that going on. Ordhvamola madhasyakham. The tune is going on, the habit is going on. In fact, whenever you say aham vaishvanara, you remember lunch or dinner and feel like having some food also. So because that is how the association happens. Aham vaishvanaraha is associated with lunch. Like that. There are a few more associations like that, okay? Therefore, that habit is going on, the tune is going on, and then you become unable to learn anything new. You get stuck in those grooves. And what kind of grooves? Like a gramophone record, just the same thing getting recycled and all that. Also, the brain gets conditioned to think in a certain way. There is a conditioning. And so, the way conditioning operates is, you can think only in that particular way. You cannot think in any other way. That is how the conditioning operates. Therefore, that is a big difficulty. Suppose you record a talk on a tape. That was the old-fashioned method, and now the digital etc. has come. But still, you record it on a tape, suppose. That can be wiped out. You can erase it and start the tape fresh, new again. Like something is written on the slate, you can erase it and write freshly on the slate. Unfortunately, whatever you record in the brain, that tape, that inside tape, whatever you record, it is impressed there for so long, it gets impressed so long that it is very difficult to erase it or to wipe it out and begin again. Unless you wipe it out, you cannot begin again. Therefore, it becomes very difficult to wipe out and begin again. Therefore, that's why we keep those grooves intact, and therefore we repeat the same pattern again and again. The same ideas are recycled again and again. And therefore, we never catch anything fresh. That is how we enter into a kind of conditionality of the brain, and give a very sacred name to that. Vedanta, tradition, etc., parampara, such names you give to that. You miss, you fail to catch anything fresh or new. This is how having an open mind is very difficult. Did I explain it? I told in the beginning, it is not easy to have an open mind. Therefore, so I can only, because some time is there, because no question was coming forward from you, I thought I will explain the statement that I have made, namely, the open mind. You see, how to put aside that old tape? You have to put it aside. Without putting it aside, you learn nothing fresh. You will be just recycling only. And that doesn't help. Recycling is not knowledge. And you may name it the way you like it, but that is not understanding. People call it knowledge. You may call it knowledge. But knowledge is not same as understanding. Knowledge is the old tape, memory. Whereas understanding is in the present moment. And it is always fresh. Knowledge accumulates in the brain cells. Understanding shines in the heart. There is a big difference between the two. Knowledge doesn't help much. Maybe at best you will be able to give a lecture. Nothing more. But understanding liberates. Therefore, can we put aside this old tape? Can we put it aside? You did not ask any question, therefore I have created a question of my own and I am answering it. Okay? Can we put aside this old tape? The old way of thinking. If you don't mind me, the question coming, these college going students are there, how to make them follow dharma. So you want to make them follow dharma, That is a kind of old way of thinking. Because somewhere you got that idea that these college students are all very naughty and all that. We were also very naughty in our time. Okay? We were not following any tradition or elders, etc. in our time. We are violating what elders said left and right. So my father used to tell, go to bed early and get up early. But we used to run away, wait for the father to sleep and run away for the second show, touring talkies cinema. So therefore, so this, can we put aside this old way of thinking? What is the old way of thinking? That the present younger generation do not follow dharma. That is the old way of thinking. You see, they were excavating, archaeology, they were excavating, They found a tablet underneath the ground below. A tablet. It's a discovery, archaeological discovery. And so they carefully brought it up and with brushes, etc., removed all the dust and mud and all that, and tried to decipher what is written on that tablet. But before that they have done carbon dating and found that the tablet is 2500 years old. That was the tablet. And then they started deciphering what is written on the tablet. It is written there, the present day young people are not following dharma. That is the first sentence written. So this is how we fall into that old thinking, old tape. So you have to come out of it. We did not assemble here to think about present day college students. We assembled here to understand what are you in yourself? That is the topic. What are you? As you sit here and now, what are you? Are you the mere body? Or are you something more than that? That is the topic, not college students. So, please don't mind. Just one thing I caught hold of it and I am playing with it. Don't feel bad about it. So you have given me some material to proceed, okay? So, therefore this old way of thinking and this old tape, it doesn't help. You have to open up and become free from all this tape. You can do that. It is not difficult to do. It may be difficult, but it is doable. You can do that certainly. You can do that by only one way, and that is paying attention. To pay attention. To pay attention is the topic of this session. Drigdrishya Viveka meditation topic is to pay attention. That is the topic. And so from tomorrow morning meditation onwards, I will be talking about this topic of paying attention. And the word is very simple. You can easily understand what it means. And you can easily follow it also. You can implement it. So it is not a job to do. It is just you pay attention only. That is all what you have to do. So as you do that, it provides an opportunity to get rid of some of the old tape and to look at the life, yourself, with a freshness that can liberate us from the humdrum of samsara. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate